Okay, this is a review for box trades that occurred on Wednesday, August 14th. Let's start out with the TF. I prefer a 100 tick chart as mentioned in your email. So again, we're going to stick with the charts that are in your email. This ensures that I can't show you charts that are favorable for that particular day, so we can talk about reality. So this first trade doesn't come until an hour and 48 minutes, actually about an hour and 15 minutes after market open. And this particular signal short on the TF was from a box that formed almost 2 hours prior. Now, I mentioned yesterday, I believe, or the previous review, on signals that happen after a long period of time since we've had the prior box has occurred. If you took this one, you would not have been stopped out. You actually would have won this one. So whether you passed up or not, that was a winner. This trade was really the first true box trade of the RTH. That obviously won. This one won. Smaller day today, low volume, not much movement across the board. But you're 2 for 2. This one, if you're multiple contracts, you get a tick away from stopping you out if you trade it like we trade it, but still a winner nonetheless. This trade here. Okay, so I brought this up I believe also in the last video. So you'd be short here and it doesn't get you at the first target. It got close, but it would not have filled you even if you're a tick above. So what I'd mentioned was that you really just kind of need to decide. If you're in this short, you haven't won it, but you also haven't lost it. And so at this point, when we have this double box form, you just need to decide if you're going to cut your losses and try to go long here, or if you're going to stick it out. And so these two trades are up for debate. As far as this one, what you would have done, and then this one, depending on what you chose here, if you would have got long here. Now, as I mentioned, I do both. It just really depends. We've got a sideways market, and man, I'm gonna try to get what I can on a day like this. This one wins. This short also wins, and this short wins, and the market's over by that point. But all in all, a very profitable day on the TF. Not as big as the last couple days, but definitely a money-making day on the TF. Let's look at the NQ. The NQ, the first trade happened here, long, small trade here. We get short, and this is also a winner. And when I say winner, you're definitely getting filled on profit. What you choose to do with any remaining contracts, it's obviously up to you. This short wins. That was our first real run that we had, or significant run. From 36 and a quarter, peaked out at 24. So we had a 12-point run there. So you would have at least got here. Okay, the next one, you would have lost this trade. So there's your first loser. You're still up on the day though. And then you would have been long here, and this one wins through here, which this one confirms staying in. So whether you took this one and or this one, you won both. So winner, winner. That one made it to the second one. This one, this was our best run of the day. At the end of the day, we get the bar closed at 31.31, and we drop close to 15 points. So you would have had a nice run on that one. So again, the NQ, slow day today, low volume, but moneymaker. I mean, this thing won big time for what we had. And let's go ahead and look at the ES. So I saved the ES for last because I had some questions on this. Okay, so this is the ES, and once again, 612 tick chart. That's my preference. If you find something different that you like, then obviously you can use that, but I've been using this chart for a long time, and it gives very nice trades. Now, again, low volume today, very, very, very low volatility. We just kind of sat in a channel all day long. And so the questions usually come up, and I'll just cover these questions now. What do I do in days like today? If we're sitting in a channel, it's not going to run very well. So what do I do in regards to box trades? Well, I mean, you can do what you want. What I prefer to do is, if we do have low volume, I'm going to be very cautious. Sometimes I will just stay out. I won't even trade that day. And you want to get to that point to where you don't you shouldn't have to trade if the market is just not what you want or fits your requirements, then don't trade. These two signals here come from a box that formed yesterday. This box formed just a few minutes before market close, and I mean that's what is that? That's 17 hours ago. You got it. I mentioned this in the last video. So, by now you should know, be very leery about taking trades like that. The conditions that existed at close yesterday most likely are not present now. And we get the signal because of how it's written. They're valid trades, but be very careful. And, some of our traders have a rule of 45 minutes to an hour. They're going to be, pretty cautious. So these two trades, you would have won this short, but you would have lost this long. So I don't know what you would have done there. If you listen to these videos, then you most likely would not have taken it. This short here is a loser. This long here is a loser. So you get slammed twice. So I'm going to cover this in just a second here. And then you finally win this trade. This one is a nice run, and hopefully you made all your money back by this trade. This had a nice push. This trade here, probably don't win it. You're short here, and you're going to get stopped out unless you got lucky. If you're a tick above and got lucky on a fill, you would have made some money. But this, in my book, is a loser. This one you would have won. This short, kind of the same thing here. It reached the same price level. Long here barely held you in it. I mean, this guy took away from potentially stopping you out. So this would have been a winner, and or this one. So whichever one, you would have won, made some money on that. And then you won this one. That one had a pretty decent run for a day that the market's not going anywhere. This one would have stopped you out. So you would have lost that one. So kind of a back and forth day. You're probably even for the day, maybe down a little bit, depending on what you did in the first two trades. If you took those two, you're definitely down for the day if you're trading this long. But if you didn't, then you might be up a little bit, but pretty close to even. Lose this one, and you win that one, and you win this one. So let's talk about that. So going back to what I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, when the market is just not moving, there's not volume, all of these signals are valid signals. All these boxes picked up exactly what it's designed to pick up. And so that is what we have in our favor. What we don't have in our favor is movement. It takes volume to move this thing. And if it's not there, and since, we play this game to make money, you have to look at the conditions. This is a horrible analogy, but if you equate it to certain sports games, if weather conditions are just too severe, they don't play. So if we're going to play this game, if I can use that term of reference, and the conditions that we require in order to have the best odds in our favor are not present, then you don't have to trade. Obviously you could run on other strategies, but obviously we're just talking about the box here. The box in these types of settings, it's not that it won't work. It's just that you're going to have smaller movement. You got to take profits quicker and be okay with taking a half point on some trades. But that's it. It's not complicated. There's not any secret to it. If the market's not moving, then you don't have to trade. You don't have to take the trades. And if you get in, you lost your first one, maybe, and your second one, maybe you won your third one, or maybe you stayed out, or maybe you winner, loser, and you're about even, and it's just not happening, then don't be afraid to step back. Wait for the market to pick up. If it doesn't pick up, I'm a fan of just walking away and go get busy with something else. But in spite of this, the NQ was beautiful today. I mean, if you traded the NQ today, you should have done really well. Same with the TF. The TF also gave some incredible trades. Even with this small movement that we had small movement, but nailed our targets. And overall, you should have been profitable. One thing I will point out, going back to the ES, in your email, I also mentioned a 7200 volume chart. And this is the 7200 volume chart. And this tends to be kind of a trend setter for, the other charts, minute charts or tick charts. And, it doesn't give very many trades, but it gives quality trades. And if you can go scroll back and look as far back as you want, on a day like today, we had some great trades. This one happened about 20 minutes before the official open. Whether you trade before the official open or not, that one won. This one here was the first RTH box trade we had, and that was a big winner. And that rode you short, from, I'm in mountain time, so 8:10. A majority of the day, so for several hours. So, let's say that you did do this, you got in this trade and we're just sideways. I'm a fan of pulling out. If I've been in a trade for, anywhere between, it just depends, I guess, on my mood for the day, 5 to 20 minutes, and there's no volume, market's not moving, I'm up, you would have been, let's just, for sake of argument, 1688, and, you're back and forth to 83. I mean, you're pushing 4.5 points, and you're just stuck at 4.5 to, 2.5 points, back and forth for quite a while. Man, I'm done. I'm not going to sit through this. I've got better things to do. This one would have gave you a small win, but I'm not sure if you would have come back. Volume didn't really pick up. And then this one, right at cash close, gave you a short for a small profit. But so all three trades, let's see, one, two, three, 4 if you trade pre-open, but 3 trades, all winners, and you would have done well. So anyways, moral of the story, even in markets like this, there is still some nice profits to take. It's definitely going to be a smaller day. The market's not moving as much. It's not as big. And so you need to be flexible in your approach, so to speak, meaning that if we have smaller movement, it doesn't make sense to go for bigger profit. It doesn't make sense to drag your profit targets way out of the way to anticipate a big run. There's no volume to back it up. So just keep those things in mind. Today, you should have done well. If you only traded the 612, you probably, maybe made a little bit, or you broke even, or maybe you were down. But if you keep those things in mind, even on days like today, you can still come out on top. So that's a wrap. The box is very simple. Again, all we're looking for is probability, and that's what the box identifies. When a box forms, it tells us that there's a high probability trade that's forming, and for us to get ready. It doesn't mean that, hey, here's a trade that you're going to win. All it does is tell us that there's a trade forming that has a very high probability factor to it, and the direction identified by the arrows shows us what direction that is. And then it's up to us to get in. So we get in, we take profits immediately initially, at least the way that we trade it. If you found a more effective way to trade this, I'd love to know. And we like to scale out. We scale out, and if the market does exactly what it did, then we're going to adjust accordingly. Pull out early and get on with your day or whatever you want to do. But should have been actually a very profitable day still, even with the small movement that we had. So if you have any questions, send them to support@predictionpointtrading.com, and be sure to subscribe at the discounted rate before it's over. We've got some incredible market days ahead of us still this year. We are ramping up to have some incredible movement, and all you really have to do is show up, and this could still be one of your best years ever.